What if I told you that one of the most expensive microphones in music history could be copied for maybe less than $50? The Neumann U87 has been used on countless hit records and is considered one of the gold standards of modern audio. But for most students and musicians, the microphone is far too expensive. For my major project at uni, I decided to ask a simple question. Can a homemade replica of the U87 compare to the original? And honestly, I thought I already knew the answer. I expected a cheap replica to sound absolutely terrible. I expected the whole project to prove that expensive microphones are expensive for a reason, but that's not what happened. This entire project was inspired by a video that I saw a couple years ago by Jim Lill called Where Does Tone Come From? Jim Lill's experiments a couple years back challenged a lot of assumptions that people have in audio. Instead of relying on opinions and marketing, he tested things scientifically. One of his biggest findings was that the microphone capsule is the most significant part of where the tone in a mic comes from. After testing mics with and without tubes, with and without circuits, with different transformers, different capsules, different bodies, different positioning, he found out that the capsule is what affects the tone the most. My original plan was simple. Buy a cheap U87 online, buy a replica RK87 capsule, install the capsule into the microphone, and compare it against a real U87 using frequency sweeps and blind listening tests. Basically, to build a fake U87 on a budget. To start off, I ordered a fake U87 off of AliExpress for only $40. I then ordered an RK87 capsule off of AliExpress, which was $25. That's it. That's all that I would use to try and replicate the microphone. With all the different working parts of a microphone, it was crazy to me that you could even get one for that cheap, but I wanted to see how good it sounded. I wanted my testing to be as controlled as possible, so I did it in the deadest studio available to me. Every test I did used the same speaker, the same position, and was calibrated using a calibration mic. I then used the software Room EQ Wizard to run frequency sweeps of the microphones and graph out all of the responses. And after my initial tests, I was honestly extremely surprised. Although I wasn't too sure how to use the software, from what I could see, the fake microphone was surprisingly close to the real one. The genuine U87 definitely did sound better, but the fake one was up there. This left me a bit stressed out with where to take my project, because it wouldn't be that much of a difference if I was to modify this one. I decided to go through with it and still try the capsule transplant, but that's when everything fell apart. Once I opened up the fake U87, I realised that it was a completely different design and wouldn't be possible. That was when I had the brilliant idea to change the project completely to testing all different types of fake microphones to see how close they could get to the real ones. My next idea was to buy a fake SM57 to compare a dynamic microphone to an industry standard that's already pretty cheap, as well as use an MXL 990, which is a very popular condenser microphone, and put the RK87 capsule into that one to see how good an AliExpress capsule could be. So I've got all the parts, let's do it. Oh, it's not.
Hey? Not working?
No. Oh no.
No way.
There's no way. These results are actually really fascinating. The cheaper microphones have a lot harsher top ends, with a lot less smoothness compared to the real thing, which you can see in the frequency response charts. But apart from that, the overall frequency response is pretty similar when you look at the curves. In reality, they do sound a bit different, but on paper, they do look quite similar. The blind listening test is when you can really tell the difference, and when they switch back to back, you can hear a lot more harshness in the top end of the MXL 990, with it being a bit smoother with the fake one actually. Another thing that I noticed while gaining the microphones is that the real U87 actually has a lot more self-noise than the fake ones. This might be because it has a lot more components in it, or maybe because it's a bit older. The new ones are certainly a lot more quiet when I'm not recording anything. The fake ones, I mean. One of the biggest things that this project has taught me is that good projects don't always go according to plan. My original idea failed completely, but adapting the project instead of abandoning it ended up leading to a much more interesting result. It's also changed a lot of my assumptions about expensive audio gear. Before starting this project, I genuinely believed that cheap microphones would sound dramatically worse. But with modern day manufacturing, a lot of things have changed. And while real microphones still sound better overall, the gap between professional and budget microphones has grown significantly smaller and will continue to do so in the future. So, can a homemade U87 compete with the real thing? No, not perfectly. A genuine microphone still has a lot more refinement, consistency, and depth, but this project has proved something very important. You don't necessarily need thousands of dollars to create a professional recording, and sometimes the biggest discoveries happen when your original idea completely falls apart. As for the future of this project, I'm very excited to record actual songs with these fake microphones and continue testing how far they can go. I'm going to look more into replacing more and more parts in my MXL 990 and try to make it as close as I possibly can to the real thing, and see how much more I need to spend and how much more I need to do to get it all the way there. Thank you for watching. I'm excited to continue this project and see where I can go in terms of building my own microphones. It was a great learning opportunity. First time soldering anything really outside of school. It was really fun learning about all the electronics, and